Welcome to Holding Space. Michael Zen is a visual producer and creative photographer using his imaginative visionary energy to channel Zen and hold space for spiritual and innovative discussion. Each episode creates a supportive, accepting, and open environment that allows exploration and expertise to come together with engaging and entertaining convergence. With guest and community all helping the shape of the way, Michael is grateful to be together to hold space. Now here is your host of Holding Space, Michael Zen.
Yes, here I am holding space. I always feel compelled to mimic the photo in my thumbnail and hold my hands out and hold space when I'm here on Tuesday nights, holding space, actually holding space for myself, for you, for my guest, for the moment, the intentional moment. One of two of my week. Tuesdays I'm here holding space on the Sacred Spiral Network, an amazing place. A lot of you are here just because of the community that's being built there and the different people that you find on the shows and the community spirit and the love that binds us all together on the Sacred Spiral Network. So shout out to the Sacred Spiral Network. Tonight's episode's gonna do that. Actually, we're gonna actually have a live shout out to the Sacred Spiral Network. If you are here live, please type that into the comments. Hashtag live tells the algorithm that there are people watching, that there's something worth watching, so that it'll pop up in other people's feed. If you hit a share button, share it with someone who you think likes this kind of stuff. This is good conversation. I see Jules out there. I see Kim Princess out there. We're going to talk about Kim a little bit later. She's got something special coming up. I saw Brenda was here earlier. I see Elizabeth. Oh, so good to be a part of this community. Everybody piling in, filling up the seats right before my eyes. I love it. So good evening, all. If you've been to my show before, here on the Sacred Spiral Network, you know that I like to clear out the space, set up the vibe a little bit, do a little quick breathing, 3 breaths in and out together to kind of just commune. And also I realized, my friend Brian Lahr, he's the one who I kind of got the idea from, right? To just kind of set up the space and get us all in that same resonance. But also it was the idea of, I thought about this today, making the making the space sacred, right? Like setting it up with intention to create a sacred space with you, with me, with my guests, with the moment, and then just kind of following through with that intention. What is up, Jennifer Rose? Good to see you there. And Virgie Den. What's up, Virgie Den? And I see Jennifer McCormick out there. What's up? It's like Romper Room. I got to get one of those mirrors. I see Jennifer. I see Brenda. I see Virgie Den. Awesome. All right. So let's do this. Let's sage the space. This is my bowl sage. Not the sage that you burn, but the sage that you turn with frequency. So let's all breathe in. We're gonna breathe in through the nose like that. So you can follow me. You can go at your own pace, and then hold it up at the top, and then push it out. That is the important part, right? The intention of feeling it fill you up, feeling it come in, holding it for a second, letting it go. You can feel the physiological effects in your blood. You start to feel your blood pumping through. It's awesome. And there he is. Hey, Dr. Zin, what is up? The man himself who has inspired this moment in my show. Let's do it all together. Ready, you guys? Let's do a nice deep breath in. Hold it for a second and then push it out. Number 2, take it in. Feel it. And release. Let it go. Last one together. Nice deep one. Hold it for a second. And you can still hear that. I love it. You guys hear that? I love it. I feel it right next to my face. I feel it. It's just so amazing every time. All right, you guys, you know what that means. Breathing is fundamental. I got to make that meme. Breathing is fundamental. Breathing is fundamental. It really is a connection to life. Thank you guys for indulging me in that moment. Tonight's kind of special. I first I first came in contact with the Sacred Spiral Network through Debbie Romero. I think it was originally was somebody who was watching my other show, the Live Stream of Consciousness. So I had Raven Adams, who I think is a Sacred Spiral community member, on my show. My family. It's story time. I see Arnie waiting out there. And so I had Raven on my show, who is part of the Sacred Spiral family, I believe, part of that community. And Debbie Romero was watching the show as a fan of Raven, or just connected, just because that's the vibe here at the Sacred Spiral Network of support and everybody kind of watching each other's shows and supporting each other. So all of a sudden I see in the chat room, I see, thanks, Debbie, for inviting me. All these names popping up that I did not know, people showing up. And certain, of course, it was Debbie Romero inviting all these people in, and it was just like probably one of my most successful shows. I had like 30 people there at one point, and it was amazing. And Raven is awesome, and it was just awesome. And so I reached out to Debbie, and she said, you got to meet Kelly Brickel, you got to meet Jennifer Rose, Sacred Spiral Network. And that's what started my connection with the Sacred Spiral Network. And I had Kelly on my show. I had Jennifer on my show, the Live Stream of Consciousness, and just kind of started this relationship with Kelly and with Jennifer, a friendship that led to me working with the Sacred Spiral Network, having my own show, being here, holding space for you guys, for all the wonderful guests. And I realized, or I didn't realize, well, I realized when she told me that she had booked on my show tonight herself. Kelly Brickel's been doing my shows. I realized, wow, she was on the live stream, but never on Holding Space. So, without further ado, please welcome to Holding Space, Kelly Brickel. What is up?
Hello, hello. Yeah, it sounds funny. I booked myself.
Yeah, you did. You booked yourself right on my show. And it's true though, like, you know, why haven't you been on this show? You were on the Live Stream of Consciousness. We had a great conversation. We have a great relationship, a great synergy in our message, our mission, you know, the things that we're doing with this platform, you know, trying to use this space for that kind of, you know, mission, I guess, you know, to continue the whole idea of community and love and supporting each other, you know, and I think similarly, I found myself wanting to kind of create shows, because I produce shows for other people, because I had met a lot of people who had a lot of metaphysical gifts, all different kinds, you know, psychic mediums, astrologers, numerologists, channelers, you know, and to me, I was like, wow, this all feels like family. Like they all kind of had a similar feel to me. They all felt like they were related. And so that's how I got involved. And then the Sacred Spiral Network is full of people like that, and so many amazing people with shows. How did you get started with the Sacred Spiral Network?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, let's go into, I want to give you a shout out though. We've just been going so crazy at a speed forward that sometimes, right, I haven't been on Holding Space. This is my first time, but I have to have you on the Psychic Hour. So Michael and I have been doing a lot behind the scenes, not in the forefront for a live necessarily, but here we are. Sacred Spiral. So about 2 years ago, WLTKDB was an online metaphysical radio show. And I learned about it and became a host. And I had the Psychic Hour and the Numerology Hour on that platform. And the creator, Todd Bates, he couldn't do it anymore. It did not align with him. And a lot of people were sad, because there's a place for things like this. And I said to him, please teach me what you know. You know, I want to try to continue. So during that time, He helped out, and then he went forward and worked on his show. He does EVP explorations now. I can't
Right.
talk tonight. Explorations now, and but he helped me put together the format with getting people involved with broadcasting shows, showing that it was possible,
Mm-hmm.
some of the technical stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and with websites and everything, because it's just there's so much more that goes into this besides we show up live.
Right. Right.
There's
True.
so much more that goes into this, and there's always stuff where it's like, "Oh, I put that on the back burner. We gotta go sharpen this and sharpen that and
Yeah.
fix
Yeah.
this and add to this." There's a lot.
Mhm.
So, he helped with understanding those fundamentals, and then you came on board too to help with shows, with, creating packages. It's really a family. Like, it's not just, "Oh, like,
For sure.
it just comes together." There's a lot of elements. But yeah, I started September 2023, and we started kind of putting out ideas to come on board for shows in 2024. And then it really started picking up momentum in early 2025. That's where the majority of people started coming on board.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've been with you guys for about a year. And it's definitely been amazing, and it's definitely grown. But let me just ask you a question. The radio station, that was radio, actual radio and internet broadcast?
Yeah, it's very similar. There's not a lot of differences. Just he came from a radio broadcasting background, so
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
actually have to register
Mhm.
as having what do you call it? The frequency channel.
Mhm.
I'm not
Mhm.
thinking of the word, but you actually get your own channel
Right.
where
Right.
people could tune into you, um, even
Interesting kind
outside
of
of it.
metaphor, right? Interesting kind of metaphor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm,
there you go.
yeah.
But that was a part of his thing, so, he marketed it like that, and that was true
Right.
to him, and then I asked him, like, "Oh, like, should I just do the radio?" And he's like, "You really don't have to unless you want to," and
Right.
I feel like it was so close to, um, I don't know, it's just like you go on air, you don't need that extra stuff unless you want it.
Right.
It's
Right.
nearly the same thing, so
Right.
that's the only reason why.
Yeah, and I kind of come from that background too. When I was younger, I was involved in some of that stuff, and it's definitely different. It's evolved. I mean, I feel like more connected to the newer technology stuff, this kind of platform and stuff. But my question is this actually, because I feel like while there's definitely a crossover and much more expanding all the time between kind of like paranormal and metaphysical. I feel like Sacred Spiral to me feels much more metaphysical than paranormal, even though there are a few kind of paranormal shows. And like I said, there is a bit of a crossover. Is that what it was? It was more of a paranormal than a metaphysical network where the show
Yeah,
is?
it was paranormal, and unexplained,
Mhm,
um, events, the mysteries of the world, so it was,
mhm,
like, accepting, like, aliens, like, what do you call it? Like, cryptozoology, like,
mhm, mhm.
Bigfoot. It's just, let's
Sure.
talk about things we can't explain, let's
Right.
talk about, people who have gone on investigations, their personal experiences, and a little bit of metaphysics, a little bit of psychic mediumship along the way. And then Jules is saying FCC. The FCC would be regulating some of the radio stuff, sure,
Mhm,
but
mhm,
yeah, I don't
mhm,
know about the call numbers and
mhm. And actually, Evelyn's asking, is Todd still having EVP on your channel? And he does occasionally, right? Still, or did he stop altogether?
no, he had it up until, May, maybe early June, and
Mm,
then he went solo, so he was on his channels, and then just recently, he, just had a lot of issues with Facebook,
mm,
and so I think he is taking a break or he's broadcasting on his website, I don't know, but,
mhm. Interesting.
um, yeah, I mean, he just came out with a book. He just came out with
You
a book
know,
on
it's interesting. Like I was talking about, there's a lot of crossover. And let me just address Melinda, who's saying, "Are you all doing readings or just chatting tonight?" We're going to chat for a while. It's really up to Kelly and how she feels. I don't really do readings. I guess I do kind of in a way, my own way. But you know, we may. But I think we're chatting. I'm holding space for Kelly tonight, and you guys, and we're just kind of talking about the history of the network, the history of these kinds of conversations. I think that's important. And really, I'm hoping to get to my theme that I think I'm going to be changing the live stream over to, which is creating reality, right? Which is the idea of how we really do create our own reality. And it's tied into all of the things that are going on, I think, currently in the world, right? And with quantum physics and all of these people kind of coming into their own spiritual gifts, channelers and psychic mediums. Like there's a lot happening energetically, you know, in the world, right, with humanity right now. And I feel like there's a reason. There's no coincidences, right? There's a reason all of this is happening. And that's really what this is all about. Holding space, my show, but even the Sacred Spiral Network is all about bringing this kind of to the forefront, to the mainstream, making it okay, you know, to have had imaginary friends when you were a kid and put them away because you were told it wasn't cool, you know, like all of this stuff is coming out. And I've actually been seeing something really amazing, and I think it's definitely algorithm related, right? And that's another topic to talk about, is how the algorithm kind of shows you it's curated for you specifically, but and how that's why everybody has their own experience. But for me, my experience lately, and tell me if this is happening for you, popping up in my feed very, very often are people who are working on their telekinetic abilities.
Oh
So
yeah,
so you'll
yeah.
see they have the little thing on the pin,
Oil.
and they're spinning it, the little foil or whatever it is, and they're spinning it. And I see classes in like Japan or something, all of these kids, and they're a gymnasium full of kids all trying to like bend a spoon with their mind. Like this is like hugely current, like and in my world, in my algorithm, in the reality I've created.
I've been seeing it pop up here and there. You know, I wish sometimes the algorithm gave me more that I wanted, but it's strange. Like I will say something or I'll see a video, you know, I guess maybe it's telekinesis, maybe it's about manifestation.
Mhm.
And so my algorithm will catch something, but I'll just be like, I was just watching this. Why don't I get more of that? Why don't I get but yeah, like there's schools devoted to telekinesis, psychic development, and the real world
Well,
applications of it.
yeah, and I've always known about that, and it's actually funny because I was going to mention this. Brian Lahr is going, haha, aha, aha. So I've had Brian on my show live, and Brian has a metal rod that he puts on this little concave lens, so it's like a little hump, and he puts the rod on, he balances the rod, and he spins the rod just with energy, like with just his mind, and he does it. And I was always fascinated by it, and I was always aware of it, and I was aware of schools of it, but it looks to me like it's like some sort of trend, like not in a bad way, like it's
I'm
just
seeing it
happening, and
more.
it's like it's more public, it's more people are aware of it, and like, ooh, wait a second, I want to try this.
I'm seeing it more. Yeah. I
Mhm,
think it's
mhm,
a meditation,
mhm,
like focal point for people now rather than like telekinesis. They're like, can I do it?
mhm,
Let me
mhm,
just do it. I'm not gonna
mhm.
think anything more than that. Can I just do it?
Right.
And it's cool. I played around with that in the
Yeah.
past.
Oh yeah.
I
No, I
I
love
haven't
it. I
done
love
it
it.
in years.
And there's also a girl who I see who comes up and she's got the divining rods. And like she just asks these amazing questions. And you can, at least for me, right, the way I experience it, you can see her channeling like the questions and like knowing what to say and getting the answers, and just like amazing stuff. You know, again, just this wave of, I think, people who are coming into their own abilities, whatever they might be, right? Because that thing that I always talk about on my show is how everybody's gift and everybody's connection with source is different. Some people read tarot cards. That's the way they connect with the energy. Some people read tea leaves. Some people read ribbons and flowers. We have a lot of really amazing things going on. And what I find amazing is that it just always seems like those things find their audience, right? Like Lynn reading ribbons could be it could come off like, oh my God, that woman who's weird, she reads ribbons. But the people who get it find her and love it, and it's just amazing. It's just, I feel like it's amazing.
I also think a lot of people are finding this less odd too. So I want to say a really quick hello to Kim Princess and Karen. I saw Michael Christopher, and then Brian, you said was in the house. Bernadette.
Yeah.
A
lot of stuff going on in the chat room right now.
Jennifer McCormick, Jennifer Rose.
Yes,
and everyone, Arnie Layton.
This is being recorded. It will be later. I want to go to a spoon bending class. So I saw a question about what do you see? What do you think about the Monroe Institute? And I've actually been thinking about looking into it and being like, you know what? Why don't I just take some time off and go explore? Because I feel, we've had this discussion. I feel very connected to source. I don't express it in a lot of the ways that it's normally expressed as a psychic medium, by reading tarot. I don't express it that way. I feel it. To me, it's a feeling, it's a knowing. I have my moments, I have my things. I think there is certainly something to be said for relating to humans and navigating conversation, right? So being here, a host of a show, I never ever thought I would be doing something like this. You know what I mean? But everybody's just like, well, you do it so well. And I'm just like, well, because I'm interested in what I'm talking about, and there's an authenticity to it. And that's how I ended up here. And when I got here, it just felt right. Like I felt like, oh, this feels comfortable. Let me continue to do this. And we were talking about this before the show. It's just opened up our lives into so many random meetings, different people and different opportunities. I've been able to have people on my show who I watch out on social media, and I'm like, Tyler Engel has this social media about ancient archaeology and how it ties into cymatics and sound and the stars and all of these things that we talk about. And I had a great conversation with him. I made friends with him, and now I talk to him, and it's just amazing, the opportunities that happen from this. And now I know I'm blabbering, but this is what I had told you I wanted the topic to be, which is creating reality, right?
Yeah.
So you've created reality by creating the Sacred Spiral Network. Not only do you host your own shows, but you hold space for all of these other amazing people. And then I gotta hold on a second. A message just popped up, and it covered your face. I was like, "Where'd she go?" It's just, again, I feel like there's another level of channeling happening, right? In just doing what we're doing, not even just like as a byproduct of creating all of these shows. Like, it's like there's an aspect of like, oh my God, I got to create this show. I got to create this show. I got to create this show. But then if you stand back and you see the ripples that each show creates its own ripples, like, oh my God, I feel a chill in my heart, like just being a part of it. It's amazing. I mean, all of these people, in the chat room, who I do want to address as well. So yes, hello. I love when you do that. You waved everyone. So actually, here's a good question for you. Kayana is asking, how did you get into numerology? The last few readings I've done, I'm picking up numbers, and I just only started looking into that. So what do you say to that?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of tying everything together of what Michael is saying. There's these new streams of consciousness coming forth. Sometimes it's like with numerology, people have studied numerology and known about numerology for hundreds, thousands of years. It's used, to my knowledge, the furthest back with India. in China, and they would use it in esoteric readings of people and charts, understanding. So it's very much a part of it. Numbers are a part of us, and numbers are a part of the universe. To what extent? I mean, gosh, it's mind blowing. So it's sitting there waiting on the precipice for us to pick it up, like most things are, like the energy of flowers, the energy of telekinesis, and these things are becoming less odd. It's just, oh, you can do that. That's really cool. That's a thing that's real. Oh, I want to try that too. And the number awareness I find happens to a lot of people, and it's just to what extent does that happen within you? I hear a lot from mediums. Oh, like a number will drop in and it will let me know something about this person, or it will help me indicate their birthday or their personality or something about myself. Like I'll have a favorite number, and then that lets me know a symbol for who I'm reading. I don't even get that. I don't. I just sometimes switch my brain onto, okay, now I'm going to look at numbers, and rarely do numbers come into readings with me if I don't think to bring them in. So everyone works and channels so differently with energy. It's totally a normal thing. One of my favorite things to do is when I teach numerology classes for people who aren't numerologists, and most people aren't, most people haven't studied numerology extensively where they can actually read with it full on. I basically teach them the energy of numbers and instruct them to just feel and experience
Mhm.
archetypes. And honestly, energy just fills in the blanks,
Mhm.
and a lot of cool stuff comes up. So I think it's very accessible. I don't think one size fits all. And yeah, I think more people are having experiences with numbers as we go forward. I might have to sneeze while I'm talking to you.
That's all right. I love what you're saying. I think it's very, 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 very important that everybody experiences these things in different ways, right? Because I sometimes struggle. I don't often struggle because I've come to terms with what struggling is, right? But sometimes I'm like, people talk about things like that's the way it is, and anytime I hear that, I'm like, well, that's the way it is for you, and I get that, and it makes sense what you're saying, you know what I mean? But that may not be true for somebody else, you know what I mean? And even you just mentioned it, archetypes and numbers. I forget who I was watching. It was on Donna Bond show just earlier.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Her
yeah,
name was Asha Nicole.
yes. So she was talking about archetypes and numbers, and I was just like, "Oh my goodness!" Like there were 64 numbers, or 62 or 64, and I'm like,
"64, yeah."
how do you remember them all? And it's like, oh, I guess that's like tarot, the way people relate to tarot, right? So again, I feel like everybody kind of relates to information different and can translate different frequencies in different ways, right? Everybody expresses it different, and I think
Absolutely.
it's important to be open to that, you know what I mean, and not just be like, well, astrology is the only way, or numerology is the only way, and that's what I love about the Sacred Spiral Network is, the diversity and the openness of, a tarot reader might, get a ribbon reading, you know what I mean, and just be like, oh, that's cool, I love that.
There's so many different ways to read. On one hand, a lot of times you're just kind of it's gonna sound funny, but I'll just say it. It's like your brain is blown out. And so you just kind of focus on whatever's coming to you. You do not look for things other than going, hey, can somebody come in or can I feel something? Like you just are in this space and you're using your brain, if not at all, if you have that sensation, or very little, and you're a passive passenger on where the energy takes you. Or, like with astrology and numerology, you are actually using a lot of memory of cataloged information.
Mhm.
And of course, there's crossovers. We're going to do a little bit of both, but you're going to be, yes, like thinking about 64 or 100 archetypes, and you're aware that this goes with this and that goes with that. And some people love that. They go, I get
Mhm.
to deep dive and explore and have the cerebral experience with the energy, as
Mhm.
opposed to you don't know anything and you're just allowing things to happen, which is it actually is crazy phenomenal cool, but you might actually not even, I'm saying actually a lot, you might not even remember what happens to you because your
Right.
brain's turned off and you're like, I
Right.
just gave the most amazing reading. I don't even know
Right.
what I said.
Well, I think what's interesting, and the idea of creating your own reality, and where I want to go with my other show, the live stream, is interesting because I think of a lot of people who I look at who I feel like have created their own reality, and I don't think they're spiritual at all. I think, like you said,
Mm,
like they're not even thinking about what they're doing, but they're so authentic, you know what I mean, that they have created their own reality. You know what I
well,
mean? And some people might be like,
yeah.
ooh, like musicians, like, ooh, that guy, he's not a success. He's a bum, but he's having the best life because he is being himself.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to acknowledge what Brian said. They're all the way. So it's like, which way is it? They're all the way. I love that.
All the way. I
Just
love that, Brian. I wanted to,
interesting.
you know what, Brian is spitting out lots of wisdom tonight. Here's one I saved. Hold on. I want to put this one up. The telekinetic part of you is the projective part of you, the balance to the receptive side. People are feeling the call to be our biggest complete self. And that's such a great way to describe, I think, what I'm feeling, right? And what I was talking about, I think, to you, is that balance between, like, we have a group of people here who are very spiritual, and I feel like there's a lot of healed people. There's a lot of healing that needs to be done here, but there's a lot of people who understand it. There's a lot of light that comes into these rooms, right? And I think that that's, that represents this balance of, I know that there's a non-physical realm, and I respect, and I look at it as something, um but I'm also here in the physical realm, and I've got to navigate this each day, and I've got to navigate
Oh, did I
personalities
freeze?
that,
You
you
freeze?
know what's that?
I all of a sudden either I froze or you froze. I'm like,
Oh,
which end was
oh, I I I,
it?
I didn't experience a freeze, so I
Okay.
apologize if I froze.
No worries.
Um, yeah, now I forgot what I was saying.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, no, it's all right. It's all right. I feel like, for me, like I said, the idea of creating your own reality is not. You don't need to take it literally, right? Like, you need to understand that it's about your mindset, what you think. It's about your focus, what you do with your intention. Like, it's not like, oh, I want $1 million, boom, $1 million appears. Like, you've got to do something to move towards that reality, right? You can't just, like, think it into existence. And I say that even though I feel like you can think it into existence, and I've seen people do that. But again, you've got to kind of take it with a grain of salt. You've got to practice. Oh, that was one of the things I was going to say. And again, Brian is somebody who can talk to this. Like you said, people may all of a sudden be seeing numbers and be like, oh, there's some message in that number, but they don't investigate it, or they don't exercise that muscle. Right now, you're a part of this, and you're an attestment to this. You developed your abilities by going to classes, by actually pursuing that knowledge, by being, oh, there's something here that is calling me. I'm going to pursue it. I'm going to learn about it. Like, that's an important part of creating your own reality, right? You've got to
Yeah.
you've got to you got to be evolved.
I do think Jules, we have two Jules. I love it. So hello, Jules. Jules says, I believe we all create our own reality, or high vi- whether or not it's possible or high vibration is something different.
Right.
And so you mentioned earlier, Michael, that there's some people really good at creating their reality, but they're not exactly spiritual. And the main word is like create. And you just have to be creative, or you just have to be in the energy of, and creativity loves speed. So sometimes people who just want and they go grab it, maybe they're not very conscious, but they just go and do it. They get it. They're in that creation energy.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
maybe they're not super conscientious about what they're doing, or they're not thoughtful, but they're getting it, right?
Right.
And it's very interesting like that, because there's some things that we can manifest very quickly and other things that are very difficult. I mean, there's wants, wishes, dreams where I'm still working on them,
Hmm.
and I can feel the energy pushing back on me. And I
Hmm.
go, "Why is this one so difficult? I would
Hmm.
think I would have been able to get this off the ground by now."
Hmm.
And for whatever reason, you could say lifetimes or our personality. I don't know our belief systems, how we're raised. We just have a delay with getting that thing birthed. And so we are in dream energy or desire energy. And as long as we work past that state, I think we can get things happening even if they're like, in the crawl state. Can we at least crawl
Right.
and not just sit?
Right. Yeah, totally, totally. And I was talking to a friend about that today, like that there are some people who are doing their thing and creating their own reality, but to you and I, it may seem like they've only kind of got to this level and that's all they're ever going to kind of get to because that's where they're at. But to them, that's their reality. They've created their reality. Who are we to judge it like that? It's not where it should be. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of part of the whole idea too of perspective and being able to see it, kind of for what it is. I mean, I think there's there's fantasy, you know what I mean, but there's also being aware. Jody uh says when you're so self-aware, it makes you more laid back because certain things mean less than they did before your awareness kicked in. I used to feel it was quite intrusive. I can relate to that. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Again, there's some days that I'm just like, okay, I know all of these things, all of these spiritual things, I know all of these greater truths, but here I am in the not greater truth, the 3D, you know what I mean? Like it's still the truth. It's still the truth. It's still a part of what my experience is, you know what I mean? Um,
Belief is really powerful because it's like, what do we believe is worth it? When we get too much information and we start to understand that our efforts maybe didn't mean much, we might abandon them.
mhm,
And really, we're still helping people and making a difference, but we don't think it's very much. Or
mhm,
we go, what's the point?
mhm,
Or,
mhm.
we're just a speck of dust in the universe. Like, what's the point of anything? Or this could all be an illusion, or this could be a simulation. And it's really just, well, sure, but it also could be not. So at the same time, everything could mean nothing, but at the same time, everything could mean everything. So I'm just going to go with everything could mean everything because it's somewhere in the middle or one or the other. So what's the hurt with just kind of playing all out and
Yeah,
knowing that
I
it's
I
yeah.
totally get you, and we got a lot of different perspectives here, right? And this is I subscribe to this too. This place is a spectral illusion. I subscribe to this too. The theme song to my show says, "You've got to ask yourself, is reality a dream or are we dreaming reality?" You know what I mean? Like that's the ultimate question. And here's the thing for me, at least, right? The cool thing for me. I got them both. I can dream and I can have reality. And you know what? Sometimes reality feels like a struggle, but sometimes dreams wake me up in the middle of the night, right? Because they're not the greatest dreams, they're not the greatest experiences. But, I think I've got a good grip on at least knowing that both of those things are realms that I'm just temporarily existing in for that moment.
I do think, yeah, like we have to utilize that with as much flexibility because something really practical could be going on. Like maybe you don't have enough money to pay your rent, or maybe you hit your knee or fractured your ankle. I don't know, but those are some real world events. Can you really believe for a moment that this is all an illusion and you're going to be okay? Can you situate that into reality as
Right.
much as you
That doesn't pay the rent. But
no, no, no,
again,
no, no. No, I'm actually no, no, no. I mean it in a
sorry.
way that you could actually heal yourself.
Yes, yes, right.
The body
No, I
goes,
know, yeah,
"Hey, I don't have to suffer as much. My
right,
like this is an illusion. Like I let that pain go."
right,
Or suddenly you're helped because of the rent or something. I don't it's just like the blockages go away because you're committed to, it's actually an illusion. That's what I'm
right,
saying.
right, right. No, no, I got you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to spin it the other way.
It's okay.
Yeah. But
Always.
always, exactly right, exactly right, exactly right. And Michael says, I see a lot of peripheral trying to spiritually bypass the human existence. I feel we need to remember we're here for a reason, to fully embrace the human experience. Again, that's like, there are some days that are great that I'm just like, oh, I'm here to freaking enjoy the day. Let me freaking enjoy the day. You know what I mean? And then there are some days like, wait, there's more to it. There's got to be more. And I'm just like looking, and then I get back down to the ground. I'm like, oh, wait a second. Stop looking so much for the signs. Just be. You know what I mean? And that is, I know that's Brian's philosophy. Just to be the light. Brian Lar. By the way, Jules is she mentioned that she's both of the Jules that are here. So thank you, Jules, for watching on two platforms and helping us boost the number. The flying in dreams wasn't in a plane. It was like I was floating. I must have missed an earlier comment about flying. But Kelly, I'm sure you've experienced that too, right? When I was a kid, all the time I would be like at the top of the stairs and I would just boom, let go and float down the stairs. I remember that happening a lot. I certainly, yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing to be in this moment, Kelly, because I feel like all of those things are about to happen. I feel like that's what I was talking about with these videos popping up with all these kids doing telekinetics. Like, that's what the world is going to look like, I think, in the next blink, before we even turn around. Like humanity is just raising its vibration, I think. And what's cool is, we haven't talked about any sort of politics or news or any of the things that are going on that I think really kind of, aren't, I won't tell people to ignore that stuff, right? Like, not to pay attention to what's going on in the world, but to kind of take it for what it is. I mean, I feel like, we're here to figure that out. We're here to figure out how to get through all of that stuff. I keep getting these messages from StreamYard popping up about one platform or the other, so I'm just...
Oh, yeah. I've been trying to reconnect it, multitasking, and it wasn't working, and I just changed the destination.
That's
So
right.
sorry if I was distracted.
Right.
I was like, I can get this to work, and it's...
That's right. Evelyn says, "Oh my God, those are not in my reality." Right. Well, you know what? They are in your reality, but they don't affect you the way they're affecting a lot of people. And that's exactly what it is. It's like, how do you process information? How do you let that information affect you? You know what I mean? And how do you respond to it? That's creating reality right there. You know what I mean? I think so. Too many people getting worked up.
Questions too. A lot of really good questions up top.
Yeah. Okay.
I love how Jennifer Lee and Michael...
Yeah, you guys are real. We're not ignoring you guys. We're just having a good time talking. So there definitely are a lot of good questions. Actually, I saw this one pop up, Kelly. I do have another random question, more so about dreams. Might not be a part of the topics, but it could be anything all the time. I used to have the same type of dream about flying. Oh, this is the first time, the first part of that comment about the dream about flying around my hometown. Like, could that be a part of reality or just a dream state? That's a good question.
I do think a dream state is a part of reality, we can argue. I am not the be all end all on this. We're just kind of sharing our thoughts. I do think that dreams mirror reality, and everybody has, I guess, a specialty with energy, I find. Like, whether you're a mechanic and you can just know what people's cars need, right? Or you're a mailman and you just are connected to, like, I bet I can guess your address or where you live, because they're just good with locations. And people can do strange things with energy, really. And I used to practice in the dream world for a couple of years, and I started having some really, really weird experiences with dreams. I don't do it as much now, but every once in a while I'll go back. And
so what explain that. You practiced in the dream world. What do you mean? You would be in a dream and you'd be doing readings in a dream?
I would practice with learning about energy in the dream world. So, like I wanted to get into lucid dreaming. So, because I wanted to be awake and control my dreams,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
also I wanted to see if I could do like premonitions where energy would come to me, where I'd know what was going on, like the next day or something in the future. Like I didn't, I wasn't like, this is gonna work. I was just like, okay, I think I have a thread of something. Like, let me go down the rabbit hole. Let me practice this. So I would write
Right,
down my dreams, or I'd have intentions before I'd go to bed at night, and I
right,
would experience like certain things in dream state. And I got to a point where I was able to actually do some premonitions as well. But
wow,
it was I don't know. It's not like my heart told me to keep going. It was just like, "Oh, that's fascinating. It's possible. Okay, let me look over here now." Right?
wow,
I think I wanted to just understand it was possible, and that satisfied it for a little bit. But what does come up for me and still happens to this day, um, because certain things do follow me and certain things stay, or however it trails the energy. People will come to me in dreams and show me something. They either talk to me, whether it's usually the living. It's actually not the dead as much,
oh,
the
wow,
past individuals, but they'll come to me in a dream and tell me they're not well, or they'll tell me about an announcement if they are excited. They'll tell me how they're feeling, or I will have a story play out, and the energy will be about what happened. So if someone comes into my dream awareness, and in the story of the dream, so the story itself is not the actual reality. So we might be at a circus or a fair or
mhm,
underwater,
mhm,
whatever.
mhm,
We
mhm,
might be on a different planet. I don't know.
mhm.
But if they come running in, like let's say the room scared, and they tell me about what is scaring them, I know that it's a metaphor to what's happening in the real world with them. Or if they betray me in the dream, lo and behold, all of a sudden something will come up within the real world where they kind of do
Wow,
betray me. Or if they don't like me in the dream, or if they love me, or if they're kind to me in the dream. It's something that there's
wow,
immense crossovers. So I do think the
yeah,
dimensions are absolutely related. I just don't
yeah.
know to what effect and when and how
Well,
they overlay.
yeah, and again, that's just I think that's a testament to again why I feel like this all ties together. It's like we're all connected, we're all one, right? We all have that. We're all dealing with the same information. You know what I mean? We're just tuned to it differently. We all just see different pieces of that big the information, right? We are information. We're just all different pieces of it. So I'm interested in what Kim Princess is saying here. I dream that I'm flying all the time. Is it astral travel? I don't know, but I can tell you the things that I see when I lucidly dream, which is basically every night. So
Oh, wow.
that is amazing. And I was going to kind of ask you if you've had any experience with that, with like remote viewing kind of thing. Like, is that something that you attempted or can do, or have you any experience with that?
I've practiced with remote viewing, not a lot,
Mhm,
but that was something that I did around that time too. And I believe that remote viewing is real. Like the government does it; they
mhm,
actively talk about it.
mhm,
They hire people to remote view and to gain information on sites and places they don't know, and they
mhm.
try to identify them on maps, or the
Yep,
places they do know and they can't see. They'll have people, right? It's
yep,
a real thing.
yep.
And let's say, but I can tell you things I see in lucid dream basically every night. What can you re-ask the question? What part did you want me to answer on that?
No, I just wanted you to. I didn't want to answer that question. I was just asking you about your experiences with
Oh, with
remote
remote
viewing.
viewing.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
had
I
a
was asking.
friend.
Yeah, Kim is saying she dreams and she can recall things very vividly. And she
Yes.
can tell you the things that she can see, and that's where I related it to remote viewing because when you remote view, I don't know if you're familiar with Elizabeth April. Um, she's a young girl who is like huge on social media and just is a remote viewer, and she talks about a lot of the things that are going on currently with Three Eye Atlas and the shift in
Yeah.
humanity and disclosure is a huge thing, right, that I've been talking about a lot lately. The idea of I don't like the word disclosure.
I
Yeah,
I think just to highlight something really quick, I think
Yep.
we all remote view. We're just not
Mhm.
really incredibly aware of it because it's like remote viewing is just like non-local physics. So
Mhm.
like all psychic mediums, if they are tuning into a person, they are remote viewing because they're like, I'm aware, like maybe
Mhm.
that you have a lamp beside you or your
Mhm.
room feels
Mhm.
cozy and you put your bed in the corner. Like their consciousness is going to their room.
Mhm.
Um, or we can just imagine when somebody's about to call us, right? The energy comes in right before they do.
Mhm. Mhm.
And of course, it's more visual remote viewing, but I think a lot of us do it actively every day. We
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
don't really think about it.
Mhm. Yes, I do too. I do too. And Jules is actually bringing up something good. Jules is asking, "Have you ever watched or listened to Aradif or Bashar?" Now, I don't know who Aradif is, but Bashar, I'm a huge, huge Bashar fan, right? Because a lot of the things she's saying, a lot of the things that we're talking about now, kind of related. Then there's a lot of information there. And again, I feel like when I see somebody like Bashar speaking, it's like I feel like he's saying things that are already in my brain, right?
Mm,
Like things I already know, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that makes sense, right? Um, and it's just I don't know, it's just this kind of comfort with the transmission of information, right, between beings. um and that's what I think is interesting about this moment, right, is all of these people coming out with these different ways of transmitting information. Oh, that's a good thing. That's kind of what I'm talking about, like light language, right? People who all of a sudden are speaking light language and they don't really know why or what it's all about, and then now taking a path of studying and learning, oh wait a second, there are all these things outside of the mainstream that I was taught, right? There are all these other things that exist that can explain and give me comfort, and there are communities like the Sacred Spiral Network, where I can hop on a show and watch and be like, holy shit, now I don't feel weird, right? um
yes,
so
it's
yeah.
needed. I'm
um
not familiar with
Ryan.
it was up top. Meredith,
Oh,
R
Aradith. Yeah, yeah.
Meredith.
No.
Yeah. I'm with Bashar though. Um,
Mhm.
I used to one of my friends had his tapes, like DVDs back in the day, so I'd watch
Oh
them
my God, when he was young, like he's been doing it for like 40 years or something.
a long time. I was
Mhm,
like introduced 10 years ago, something like that.
mhm,
A
mhm,
little more than that, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, that's when I first
mhm.
15, but he's a cool guy, cool dude, and I appreciated his content, I still do because, yeah, again, we need more conversations like this, and it shouldn't be weird that we have experiences. It should be exciting, and it should be, supportive that we are actually evolving.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm so excited about all of this stuff, and that's why I love talking about it, because I feel like we're all learning new things about our own abilities as human beings, that are just way outside of what we grew up believing, was the limitations of being human. Um, you know, um, so I know that there's a whole bunch of stuff going on as far as the conversations, and I want to address stuff. So if you see anything there interesting that you want to talk about, I know Kim
There
Princess
was
is
Oh, go
coming up
ahead.
on my show. So
Hey,
on
Kim.
Thursday, one of the viewers of the Sacred Spiral Network, who watches all the time, is always has great feedback and is always a part of the conversation, reached out to me and said, hey, I've got a little bit of a story. So she's going to come on the live stream of consciousness. But Kim is saying she actually saw herself in a dream, like she was watching what was going on very clearly. Very interesting.
Yes. Yes, that can happen, definitely. Sometimes the camera lens switches and we're able to see ourselves, or sometimes you might catch a mirror in the dream and you just go, I look like that, or oh, here I am, and it's a strange experience. I feel like it's an invitation for us to look at another side of ourselves. Um,
Mhm,
and we go, I can be that. I'm doing
mhm,
this. It's just like, yeah, the dream
mhm,
reflects that.
mhm.
get to be something else if you want to be.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And that's kind of like also um Bashar's message, right? Is to follow your passion, right? To just like do what feels good, right? What makes your heart sing. And I think that's a big part of creating reality as well, is just kind of just having faith that the things that you really love are the things you should be doing. I mean, again, and it was even kind of a joke, I think, for me growing up. I mean, it may be different for you, but growing up, it was almost a joke, like, oh, you don't strive to be a musician or an artist, because those are not careers that are going to pay you. You know that if you're going to go to be that, you're going to be suffering your whole life or struggling or whatever. Where it's interesting that you said, I think, that you were talking about creativity in general as a frequency, just thrives, right, on just constantly creating, and I feel like that's kind of a part of what we're here to do, as human beings, is create, and help each other. I mean, I guess create for ourselves, but also help each other. Where you hear me say it all the time, we're all in this together, right? We're all on this planet together. Like, how can you look at other people on this planet and be like, oh, I'm better than them, and I deserve this and they don't, or something like that. I don't know where my brain's going right now, Kelly. So drive me back into where we're supposed to be.
We're all in this together, and yeah, I mean, I think we get to enact different part of ourselves, and when we look at other people and we go, well, why do they have that and we can't, or I can't? uh it's just about enacting another part of ourselves. We won't be able to enact all parts of ourselves in this lifetime. Like, not everyone, if they want to learn math, they're going to be a math genius or going to be an art genius. Or it's like we can't experience the pinnacle of everything,
Right.
but we can experience pinnacles of some things, and that's super excited. Or if you want to travel, um, if you really really want to travel, you can manifest that by going 20 minutes down the road and having the most amazing experience.
Mhm.
So why do we kind of talk ourselves out of things that we can have all the time?
Yeah.
Um, we really get to determine what's what. I think that was kind of a little bit of the frequency that you were talking about. And there was another question, if I
Absolutely.
may, that I thought was
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was by, I have to go up. I don't know who it was by. It was by Jody. Um, how to ground yourself. Here, should
Yeah.
I
Yeah. You
click
can
it?
pop it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm like fighting back sneezing. I woke up with like some type of cold today. How to ground yourself when so hyper aware and metacognitive. Because we were talking about earlier in the show of like evolving, and sometimes when you learn so much, you understand that certain things are not important anymore. and
Mhm.
and I think that um we're in a human experience vibration, and we've chosen to live that out in the frequency of physicality, at least what we understand as physicality. And so in order to get things done, there has to be a grounded uh, 3D physical nature of it for the most part. And yes, people are talking about 4D, 5D, we're ascending, but we still live in physical reality. So it's so, so important to actually understand about grounding and do things within a state of honoring our physical body.
Mhm.
We're talking about manifestation, and our body is literally like a wand. Our body is a massive crystal, and we can't conduct the power of the wand or the crystal if the crystal is cracked, or if the crystal wasn't charged in sunlight or given whatever it needs to be healthy. And our bodies need things in order to transmit properly. And so we are not our bodies, and we are just partially being, our energy is partially being shared with our body, and we're puppeteering this body. But in order for me to talk to Michael now and for you to hear me right now, you all have to have ears and I have to have a voice box, or we'd be doing something else on a different frequency. So to be on this frequency, the body has to work correctly
Right.
in a certain way.
Yeah.
So I think the importance comes in within that, of how do you ground yourself? You understand the imperative importance of the body, and you start treating it like it's gold rather than your thoughts are gold, and then suddenly the attention shifts and you don't have that problem quite the same way. Take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I
Mm-hmm.
could talk all day about taking care of
Yeah,
yourself.
no, absolutely. And Brian said breathing as far as like a good, I mean, that's to me, that's the simplest, right there, because that's why I start the show with it. Even for me, like, it's funny. It may seem funny to other people, but in those 3 breaths, I get my little buzz. I get a little high. It's a little physiological connection with my blood and my heartbeat, and I'm just like, I feel it. So grounding to me, is being in that moment, being in my body, being in the moment, just being like, okay, it doesn't matter what's outside of me. I'm here. I'm now. I'm me. I am. I am. That's grounding. Just being. And I think, and again, it's different for everybody. And he said works every time. Believe it or not,
It's pretty great.
that
I
says works every time. Breathing, and it does. And that's why again
forget
I
to
say
breathe. I really
breathing
do.
is fundamental.
I think that's my greatest weakness, though. I'm gonna give, like, Brian a shout out to how important that is, and for you too, because you start every show with that. I forget to understand the importance of it, and when I finally do it, I go, "Oh, why am I
How
not
good
doing
does it
this?
feel,
I do
right?
other stuff,
And you
but."
know what? I think that's kind of cool, because when you forget to do it a lot and then you do it, it's like, oh, that was a good one. You know what I mean? Like you're like, holy crap! All I had to do was slow down for a second and just concentrate on 3 breaths, and really, like, it is so simple. And Brian does some great exercises with different breathing patterns on his show, and he does different practices. Breathing sequences change your mental frequencies, but physiologically in very real ways. Absolutely. And I talked about this after the summer when I went to Costa Rica. I did some breath work. We had 2 nights of intense breath work. And after watching breathwork sessions as a videographer, right, and documenting them, and watching people have very, very visceral reactions. I mean, people were screaming, people were crying, people were hysterically laughing. I was like, this is really intense. In Costa Rica, I experienced it, and I tell you, Kelly, I mean, I've never done like ayahuasca or anything that's really intense like that, but I feel like that was the experience I had. My body was convulsing. Um, I felt like I was outside of my body observing the whole situation, but I also felt like I was inside of my body at the same time. I was feeling those convulsions, but I was watching it. It was really, really intense. And I think I would love to explore breathwork some more. I should probably talk to Brian. He could probably lead me through some amazing breathwork exercises that I think are really cleansing. And now I just want to talk about this for a second. One of the things that I felt, it was kind of like information, and it was a response to filming these breathwork sessions, is the world is in a place where a lot of people need healing, like very, very deep healing that I don't think they even know is there. And I think that some people may walk around knowing kind of the basics, like, oh yeah, I don't have a relationship with my mom. I haven't spoken to my mom in 15 years, and they don't think much of it. But there's some deep healing that needs to happen there. And it's not like, oh, you have to be talking to your mom, you have to have a good relationship with your mom. No, that's not what I'm saying. But whatever happened to put you in that situation may never have been dealt with. And oh, Doreen is here. Doreen was actually one of the people who was at the breathwork that I was documenting, and she says it was like nothing I've ever experienced. And Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to put some of these videos out. I got to talk to Hardy and see why we haven't, because they're just sitting there. But the people who I watched, it was so evident, right? And as an empath, I'm crying, right, watching these people go through the stuff, because it was so evident that this energetic trauma was like coming out of their body. They were cleansing. It was like being released. And man, it's so powerful. And so my point is, I feel like whatever that pain is that needs to be healed is a frequency, and a lot of people are on it and they don't know it, and that frequency needs to be released. I don't do the classes, Jody. Hardy Patel does the classes here on Long Island. I don't know where you are. I don't know, Kelly, what kind of classes do you do in related to any sort of healing? I know you probably know tons of people on the Sacred Spiral Network who do. There's a tons of people who do all sorts of practices. There are so many different ways to heal, and it's going to be different for everybody. So don't stop trying to heal if you feel like you need it. You know what I mean? Look for the practice that works for you. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot of healers on the network. It depends on what kind of style of healing you want. Suri Sawyer is an
Amazing.
energy healer. That's like one of the main things that she does. And I mean, I do energetic healing. I do it in person and online too. I facilitate meditation classes. That's like kind of something more one-on-one that I do from time to time rather than doing a large class.
Mhm.
There's a bunch of people like Jennifer Rose. I'm just thinking about Sacred Spiral right now,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
she holds a healing meditation circle every week.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I mean, there's so many resources depending on how you want your healing and what resonates.
Amazing, amazing. And I just want to say, Benno from Oz says, me and mom don't get along. And it's interesting. I mean, I just brought that up as a scenario, right? And Benno just said it out loud, right? And
Yes.
I'm sure that comes with a feeling, right, to even say that in a comment board. And thank you for being so vulnerable and saying that. I don't know what that means, for you, or what, but I think in a way you just addressed it, right, by just saying. You just addressed it, and maybe it's something you do need to address more, or maybe you addressed it, and now that's what you needed to do. You know what I mean? Oh, nope, he's addressing it now. She makes me angry, and I her. So in that, I'm going to say there's a great acknowledgement, right, of the reflection of, you're not just saying she makes you angry, you're acknowledging that you make her angry too. And I think that's important, and that tells me that you're willing to even look at that and take responsibility for it, which I think is important, right? That's an important part of getting to love yourself, is to understand your part in all of the relationships that you have that may not be great, right? And understanding why they may not be great. And Benno says we clash, and he says yes. And Jody is sending love to Benno. That's what we do here. We send love to each other. Benno, much love. Again, thank you so much for even just saying this stuff out loud. I think I'm responding to it because I feel like it's important, right? I feel like I'm even responding to it because it's hard when you dread her calls. Yeah, I can imagine. It's hard, and you know what? Especially around holiday time, right, Lynn?
Lynn, yeah.
I'm right here. The holiday spotlights these dynamics, and it's just you know what? It's a great opportunity to stop and take some breaths, look at yourself. Don't put yourself up and say, oh, I wish she would understand. Like, you do your best to understand. And I'm not victim shaming or anything here. I'm not turning it around, right? Maybe you have dealt with it and she hasn't, but together you have to deal with it. And or again, I don't want to say you have to, because maybe you don't have to deal with it, but I just believe even talking about it right now is important, right? I think it's just like looking in the mirror and saying, oh man, look, I do have a scar here. man, what's that from? And just like working through it. So I think that's cool. And Benno saying thank you to Lynn.
Yes.
Awesome. Kim asked, I believe Kim said, "Am I on Long Island?" Yes, I am on Long Island, Kim. Hardy, we got a what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my God. A shout out for Hardy, who did the breath work. Hardy is fantastic. Amazing release. Jody says, like a mirror. That is I love that, right? I feel like when we say things like we're all connected, right? Part of that is being a reflection of each other, right? No matter how different somebody is than you, I think I always feel like there's some sort of reflection of myself, even just the idea that I'm human and they're human, right? I feel like there's always a reflection in somebody else to see and to kind of learn. I don't want to say you're always learning from it. Sometimes you see your reflection in somebody and you just smile, right? And you're just like, oh, wow, that's cool, right? Um, the other thing I meant to talk about, and I know I'm like blabbering a million miles an hour. I see you kind of trying to hold back your sneezes. The other, the
Here
other
and
thing,
there. I just had some things fall too.
yeah,
Reading the comments as well.
yeah, there's some great guys. You are amazing, and again, we're not ignoring you. There's some really good stuff. You're in Bayside. Good, that's very cool. Awesome. We are close. There's a lot of good stuff going on, and Jules is talking about Ubuntu, which besides being a computer system,
Yeah, that's what I
operating
was
system,
thinking.
uh, the word comes from an African philosophy. I am because we are. So great. Oh, Jules, you are beautiful. I love you bringing this up. I am because we are, meaning one's humanity is tied to the humanity of others, a concept of interconnectedness and mutual care, rooted in the belief that an individual's identity and well-being are shaped by their relationships and community. What an amazing statement, especially here on the Sacred Spiral, right? Which is such a great facet of the jewel of the world. I feel like the Sacred Spiral is a shining facet. So wise, Jules. Yes, amazing wisdom in this audience tonight.
Jules is
I love
wise.
it. I
She's
love
very
it.
wise. She's very wise.
And Jules has never heard of the techie word. She never heard of Ubuntu used in the computer context. That's great. I love that. David Ike,
Crossovers.
some other people bringing up some other uh, awesome people to listen to. Yeah, that's the great thing about this spiritual community too. I feel like is, do you spend a lot of times like watching other podcasts and listening to other people, like just kind of
I
mining for
used
wisdom?
Yeah, I used to. I At this point I don't have a lot of time, but I
Right.
do appreciate it and I'll catch what I can. Like if someone's broadcasting something, I will sit and I will listen for a little bit, or I'll try to catch the other shows and
Mhm.
support the people. But that's part of the reason why I came into this, because I used to listen to Hay House Radio all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's what kept me in my focus of how this was very important for me to acknowledge in everyday life. All
Yeah.
these things we're talking about now. So absolutely, listen to radio all the time, podcasting all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I want
Uh,
to, give love to Benno too.
Yeah, a lot of love to Benno. Totally. Thank you for coming here, and I think there's a reason you came and you joined the chat and said the things you did, and I think there's always that. Um, but speaking of time, I don't think we even realized it, because here we are creating our own reality, living in our own world, and we can do this forever. We're over an hour. We're at 10:15 already, so I'd love to wrap this up. Although Kelly, you're amazing to talk to. The Sacred Spiral Network is an amazing place. You guys, all of you guys, this has probably been one of my favorite comments. I got to go back and read all of these comments, because you guys were doing so much good stuff in the comments. So, and yes, Michael Christopher, the Sacred Spiral Network is an amazing space. Totally. So
Michael Christopher.
kudos to you and everybody here who's part of the family. Whether you think you are or not, you are. Just being here, you're a part of this family. And you're always welcome, Price. And Doreen, thank you for being here and talking about your experience with the breath work. It's awesome. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff in the I could address all these comments and we could go all night. I
And
gotta go
address
to
Michael's comment.
what's that?
Michael's causing a ruckus. Michael has a comment.
Michael, we should see if Victoria's Secret will sponsor us. There are a lot of beautiful ladies on the Sacred Spiral Network. It is true. It is true.
I wanted to give him a little of a spotlight. He has a show tomorrow with Jennifer Lee, Spiritually Imperfect. But yeah, the Jennifer and Nancy were on last night, and they were just making things so so funnily difficult for Michael, and seeing how awkward they could make
you know what?
him.
I can relate because being one of the few men on the Sacred Spiral Network, I could definitely relate. But I love the Divine Feminine, and I feel so blessed to call you all my sisters and my mothers and my, I don't know, whatever we are. We're all family. It's amazing. And Vanilla Van Life Sprite that drops a sub and a like. Thank you so much for being here and liking us and subscribing, and come back. We do this all the time. We have these great things. A lot of times on the Sacred Spiral Network, by the way, if you don't know the Sacred Spiral Network, most of you seem to, there's amazing readers, so you can always get a very cool reading, whether it be a tarot reading, a card reading, a psychic reading, a ribbon reading, a flower reading. I don't know if we have any tea leaf readers, but
Maybe
I
one
know,
day.
you know what, I think Minty May reads tea leaves if you ask him to, but amazing conversation. Thank you so much for being here and booking yourself on the show. I have Kim Princess coming up, like I said, on the live stream on Thursday. We're going to learn her story.
Okay.
She went through some trauma young in life, and it affected the whole direction of her life, and now she's sharing her gifts, so it's very awesome. So I'm excited. So thank you guys. Nana used to do tea reads. There you go. So we have Jody's Nana used to do tea reads. Anything else you got coming up? Any how I love to ask people for dad jokes. Got any good dad jokes?
I have an event coming up, but I don't have a dad joke
Hey,
ready to go.
I'll go with the event. What's the event you got coming up?
I'm trying to think if I can pull a joke out of thin air. But so December, gosh, it's coming up. December 13th. Jennifer, because a lot of us live in Orange County.
Mhm.
Not all of us do. We're sprinkled across the United States and other places. But in Orange County, in the Tustin area, we are having an in-person event. Nancy Maritala,
Mortala,
there you
yeah.
go.
Amazing. I
Lynn
think she was here
Juno.
tonight. I saw her earlier.
Nancy was here. Lynn's right here now. Hello, shout out to Lynn. And then Jennifer Rose. Jennifer Rose is right here too.
Awesome.
And myself. And we're going to be at the Sanctuary Wellness Center for an afternoon of readings. So if you are in the area, or if you would like to share that with someone who is in the area, come on by. It's just in like 11 days. My goodness.
I did have a dad joke, but I don't know. Awesome. That's awesome. I love that you guys do events and you guys all kind of team up. And Benno, thank you. I'm going to move closer to the mic and I'm going to say thank you for complimenting my lovely, calming voice.
It's a great voice.
I appreciate that. Anyway, lots of love. We could chat forever. We could do these outros forever. It's like you always got to find the right place to
there's a lot of comments too that we could, I mean, there's people are so active tonight. We have a lot to keep talking about. There's a lot of energy here.
Amazing. Well, we might have to just continue this. I know you said you've got me booked for the next couple of weeks. Who's coming up next week? Do you remember?
I should know this. You have Karen Bonafilio, and that's on the 16th of December. And she is an author. And I'm not going to share her story unless you want me to share her story. I don't. You get to dictate how much you want me to share, or if you want to be surprised, or if you want to meet her.
No, I love to learn about people organically. She's an author, so that's a good place to start.
She's
And
an author, right? And she shares her story of how she became an author, and that's part of her.
Beautiful.
There's a reason because of that.
Cool.
And a spiritual author, and then you have someone else like. You have someone else coming up. You have Grace. That's right. I'm like, I'm always
Grace
I'm always
Grella. Oh my God. I love that. We have a
mixing
good
up
history
the
together.
days.
That's awesome. I cannot wait to talk to Grace Grella. She was actually, I think, one of the first guests I had on Holding Space.
Yes, I
Yeah.
was thinking about that. So Grace is coming next week, and then you
Yeah.
have Karen
Awesome.
after her.
Awesome.
So
And
Grace is
Grace has a
next.
show too on the Sacred Spiral Network.
Yes,
Which is
guided by Grace.
awesome. And Arnie, I think Arnie has a little bit of a crush on Grace.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully
Gorgeous
so.
energy. Gorgeous
She's
energy.
amazing. You guys have been
Gorgeous.
awesome. Kelly, you have been awesome. I got to go to bed. As you can see, it's always a party, especially when all you guys show up with the great energy that you did show up with tonight. So thank you so much for making a guy feel special. I really appreciate it. I will see you guys on Thursday and next week here in this space right here. Peace.